I'm Destroy America, and today we're going to be looking at the Burning Skies punk set from Rave Australia. Before we get into that though, if you could hit subscribe, whether you're on my channel or the Rave Australia channel, that would be really helpful. And I also have to let you know that everything today was sent to me as a gift, but I'll always give you my honest opinion in every review. Alright, so here we are on the website. The first item for today is the punk fake two-piece sci-fi top. If we look at the description, a women's punk fake two-piece sci-fi top is made from dark Peruvian cotton elastic knit fabric, small round collar, fake two-piece hollow out neckline and coarse twill cotton belt with sci-fi buckle, long sleeve design, 3 sizes only, regular plus size. Let's have a look at the pictures. So this is the top here, and if we can look at some details, so you can see that's that sort of fake two-piece kind of thing, like it sort of overlaps as if you're wearing something underneath the top. Around the back is pretty standard. Yeah, this is the top on its own. So yeah, it's kind of an interesting, odd sort of design with this random buckle there. But you know, if you want to wear a long sleeve top and just have something a little bit different, I guess that's what this is about. So you can see some of the details there. And we're going to be wearing something similar to this, just different colors down the bottom. And here is the sizing, so I'm going to be the extra small to small size. And yeah, every item comes with a size chart at the end. Alright, so if we move on, the next item is the punk chain link crop hoodie jacket in black and red. And in the description, a women's punk chain link crop hoodie jacket black and red is made from soft knitted sweater material spliced with color contrast and elastic free printing woven fabric and PU leather for 3D visual effect. Generous hood with black and red mesh pattern on back. Front jacket closure consists of high grade metal, snake belt buckle, flat metal rivets and PU leather belt straps. Closure fully adjustable. Front shoulders with black and red pattern and PU leather straps with flat rivet decoration. Front chest with detachable chain links crossing 2 sides and connecting at back of jacket. Long sleeve design with extended cuffs and thumb hole. Black with flat rivet decoration and high grade O-ring connector. Punk rave lettering D-shaped buckles at bottom. Regular plus size available. So this is a little sort of jacket thing. And I love this pattern. This is the sort of Burning Skies pattern that sort of makes the theme of today's outfit. You can see it extends to this stripe at the back. It's a little bit hard to see from this picture what it actually looks like. So you want this one, you can see like it's sort of a half jacket with the long sleeves. When it's the black on black, you kind of don't see that quite as clearly. But yeah, really cool, really interesting, kind of cute. I don't have anything like this. Here's that snake buckle. Looks kind of interesting. And then we've got, yeah, D-rings and stuff. And on the back, I think that's where the chains hook up to. Yeah, so we're going to be wearing that other skirt, but yeah, these are from today. And here's the size chart, so we're going to be trying the small size. This is me. Now there is a black version, which I'll show you quickly. And as you can see, that black on black contrast, it really does sort of fade a little bit. But you know, if you were wearing something lighter underneath, you'd probably get that. So it looks like maybe it has a different kind of textured fabric instead of that red fabric. Yeah, you can sort of see here. Otherwise it's, yeah, that sort of black on black. So if you're into, I guess, more of a gothic and less of a punk kind of look, this might suit you better. But yeah, the details are pretty much the same. Alright, on to the next item. This is the skirt. It's the punk Burning Skies pleated skirt in black and red. I'm pretty sure there's only one version of this, rather than a black version. But anyway, our women's punk Burning Skies pleated skirt black and red is made from dark twill woven fabric. Fabric has special dip dye process to create the burning look. Waist with adjustable PU leather belt and heavy metal Japanese word buckle and belt loops. Lobster clips connect via small D-rings front and back. Detachable PU leather strap on one side, small detachable waist bag on the other side. So, yeah, this skirt's really cool. I really like it. And see that gradient is pretty fun there. Yeah, and we've kind of seen a lot of those pictures. But yeah, so this is the skirt on its own. So yeah, we're really going for that theme with this sort of fabric here. Which, yeah, that has been popping up on more and more punk rave stuff lately. So we're just going all out for that. Cute little bag there, which is good when you want pockets. Here's the buckle. And yeah, we've got one of those little straps. Close up of that fabric, which, yeah, it's really cool. I really like it. Yeah, and so this is actually pretty close to what we're wearing today, just we're wearing the red version of these. Now the size chart, so we're going to be wearing the small size. You can see the measurements here. Okay, and then moving on to the last item. So these are the red ones. The Punk Girls Batwing Flared Leg Covers, black and red, and again has that same pattern. Women's Punk Girls Batwing Flared Leg Covers, black and red, are made from dark knitted sweater fabric and matching woven red flame print fabric. Little bat decorates one sleeve front middle. Adjustable rubber belt bands in the legs allow both size adjustment and adaptability to all leg shapes. High quality metal eyelets and D-rings and flat metal rivets decoration on both leg covers. Back with 2 strap bands on one leg, 3 strap bands on the other. Colors black or black and red. So let's have a close up. I have never had something like this before, leg covers, so I'm really excited about this one. And I love that they match with this fabric the rest of the outfit. So yeah, really cool. And if you don't have like fancy gothic shoes, you can just hide them up. So that's really good, because like in Sydney, it's getting harder to find good gothic shoes, and I like to be able to try them on. I don't like ordering online, those kinds of things, because you know, when you're walking around, if it doesn't fit nicely, you're in trouble. So yeah, and I love this kind of shape. How much fun is that? It's sort of like a bit like wearing flared pants, but just the legs, just the bottom of the legs. Yeah, really interesting, really different. And then this cute little bat thing, so like, you know, we're not overdoing the symmetry, we've got something a little bit different there. It does sort of fade a little bit, the black on black, so like it would be cool maybe to have a red version of this, but yeah, really fun. I love how these straps stand out, and you can see on the back, so the one with the wings doesn't have that extra strap. Close up of all that. Oh yeah, and so this looks like the elastic to keep it on your leg, and a close up of the bat wings. And then, yeah, some fun little details with D-rings and O-rings. And cool. So, yeah, with the sizes, so, like, it's a little bit different because they're on your legs, so you're not going to be measuring your bust or anything, but that gives you a sort of idea of, yeah, the sizing. So, cool. Now, let's have a quick look at the black one before we get back into things. So, yeah, here's the black versions. And as you can see, like, so it is black on black, but the way that they've given you some contrast is with like the shiny material on top of the matte material. So yeah, you still get something fun going on there. And yeah, once again, good if you prefer the all black look rather than having the red show through. But yeah, otherwise all the same kinds of details. Yeah, cool. All right, let's get into it. All right, so with regards to shipping, I've got 2 packages here today. This one we actually got previously, that was by Australia Post Express. And I think most of these items are not coming from Australia, so that experience isn't entirely relevant to this video. I think the more important one is this one, which is the first one I've ever got from Rave Australia via Aramex. Because of global shipping disruptions, they've actually changed their international shipping partner. Now, I can't really say too much about this though, because it came before I was actually expecting it, so I don't know exactly when it was sent and how long it took, but it was a lot faster than I was expecting. I guess I can just say that, you know, it's really good that Rave Australia are paying attention to the global situation and adjusting things so that you can still get reasonably fast international shipping, but without having to pay exorbitant prices. Anyway, seeing as I don't have much to say about it, we might as well just go ahead and open it. So here we are with the bubble mailer. Not sure what all this writing is, I guess something to do with shipping. But yeah, I really like these bubble mailers, they're pretty fun. Got these cute little messages. All right, so I think this is the top. Let's have a look at it. Now, they always come with a bit of tissue paper and desiccant, and just keep an eye on those so that like your pets don't get a hold of them. All right, so here's the top, and the first thing I notice is the fabric. So it's very smooth and it's a little bit thin and it's got a little bit of stretch in it. Design-wise, it's pretty much just like a long sleeve top, except for these details on the front. So it's a little bit difficult to show you with black on black, but as you can see, like we've got that buckle in the middle there. It does actually open, not that you really want to be doing that. And that's held on with this thicker sort of fabric here. And so the section that this buckles on, the way that it's attached to the top is kind of interesting. Like at the top, it just seems like it's connected, but then it's sort of under this area, it sort of hides in there. And so I've just turned it inside out, and so you can see where those attachments go. They sort of end up just under the armpit, underneath the outer body. And so yeah, I guess that's what gives it sort of the illusion of having 2 pieces, even though it's like singularly attached at the top. Here there's an overlap. It's a really interesting sort of unusual design. Well, that was a pretty simple one, so I guess we can just move on to this. All right, so there's 3 items in this one. They're all in reasonably big bags. And you can already see that Burning Skies print on there. So let's get into it. All right, so let's start with the little jacket. Oh my god, wow. Straight away, I'm just like, this is so cool. The thing that caught my eye first of all is this snake buckle. Like, you know, you can see it on the website, but like seeing it in person, I'm just like, oh my god, I love that. It's so cool. And like, it's a decent size as well. Wow. Check out that detail. And it's still functional as well. So you can actually, you know, open it up and use it like a regular buckle, but it has that incredible design. Gosh, and there's so much detail, so I'll try and go through this a little bit more systematically before I get too distracted by shiny things. So at the top here we have a hood, and there's 2 kinds of fabric. So we've got the black fabric and the Burning Skies fabric. Now the black fabric is a little bit thicker and coarser than we experienced on the top. The Burning Skies fabric is kind of just like smooth. It's a little bit hard for me to judge the thickness, but maybe roughly the same as this black fabric. Around the edge of the hood there's also this nice thick seam, and on the back we can see that the Burning Skies stripe goes all the way down the back of the hood until where it connects to the rest of the jacket. Now the back of the jacket's fairly plain, but we do have these 3 Burning Skies loops which hold that D-ring in place, and these little chains come off it. Those chains do have clips, so if you want to take them off you can totally do that. And then yeah, there's a lot of studs around the place, both holding in these loops and also around the edges decoration. Coming back around to the front, so as well as that snake buckle, we've got a lot of other details. So similar to the back, we've got some black fabric with these studs around the seam, but that's underneath this Burning Skies section. And that Burning Skies section, it comes down and it ends in another D-ring with another little clip attached to the chain. And then we've got these strappy decorations. So we've got the one that goes underneath the snake, but also these ones which are just pure decoration. And they're a much thicker sort of a fabric. I can get my finger under it. And it's got this sort of smooth feeling. It's not really leathery, but it sort of has that feeling of thickness. And then you've got these studs which connect it to the fabric, but it's also sewn in at the top and bottom. The fabric feels really nice and solid, which is what you want around the buckle section so that it doesn't wear out. And then we come to the sleeves, which are pretty standard as far as sleeves go until you get to the ends. And here you can see there's a little bit of a flare to them, but we've also got a finger hole! So yeah, wow, really interesting, really cute, really exciting design with lots of details. I'm heaps keen to try this one on. Next up, let's open the skirt. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. And straight away you can see the Burning Skies pattern like really clearly here. I love it. It's so cool. So I think in terms of fabric, this Burning Skies section is about the same as the jacket. But if we have a look underneath, so first of all, you can see the gradient in the color. So there's like a darker red towards the bottom of the skirt, and then it goes up to this brighter red. But what you also notice is it has this really soft lining. So they've done that for the comfort of your legs, and it feels really nice. Something I've just noticed about the lining under the skirt that's a little bit different is instead of being an open loop, it's actually designed sort of like pants, which I've not seen before. I'm not sure why that's done, but maybe when I try it on I'll find out. Either way, it's really interesting. Now back to the front, you can see these pleats. They're pretty cool. Some of them have gotten a little bit squashed in shipping, but that's to be expected. You can fix it up with a bit of ironing probably. And then we have a whole heap of really cool details. So we'll start with this belt. So you can see the fabric. It has a sort of leathery feel. It's a little bit similar to the straps on the jacket, but what's really different is on the inside, it has that Burning Skies fabric again. I don't think the belt's really intended to be reversible because you can see the way that the eyelets are. Yeah, no, this is definitely the outside, but you know, if you wanted to, you could maybe try that. I guess maybe it's like one of those things where you can catch like little brief glimpses of it, and the belt does seem to be removable, so you could wear it on a different outfit. And if you were wearing it over something that's completely black, and then you have that black on black, where you could just get the little edges of red peeking through and maybe like sort of highlight the belt in a way. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not really sure why that is on the reverse. I just think that's an interesting detail. Like, they don't skimp on anything. They could easily do an all black belt, but they've decided to do it that way. So yeah, that's really cool. So what I mean by black on black, like, you know, my top is black, right? The belt is black, but you can just see these peaks of red coming through, which is kind of interesting. Like, maybe that's the way you could use that belt. And then we have this really chunky buckle. Like, wow. It feels pretty solid. You can see more of that double-sided fabric here where it connects to the buckle. buckle. Because the belt is removable, you could also put your own belt in here and mix and match if you don't really want this style. Now underneath that buckle, we've also got one of these invisible zippers to help you get the skirt on and off. So holding the belt in place, we've got a couple of belt loops in that Burning Skies fabric, which is a really nice contrast between the black. And at the bottom of each one of these loops, there's a little mini D-ring, and all of them have some kind of connection. So on the right side of the skirt, we have this. So it's another one of those leathery kinds of straps, and has all these little eyelets in it. It's just black on both sides, I guess because it's hanging free, so you know, you are more likely to see both sides and you still want the contrast with the skirt. But like a lot of decorations on Punk Rave Australia items, it is removable if you decide that you don't want it, or you want to hang something else there, or you want to use it on a different outfit, which is really cool. And then on the left side of the skirt, we have this little pocket. Once again, also removable. Yeah, look how cute that is. It has the little skull button there. And then on the inside, it's got this sort of black silky feeling kind of fabric. Now it's not a huge pocket, and if you have a big phone like I do, it's not going to fit in there, but you will have space for like keys, maybe a few coins, cards, whatever. And if you're someone like me also who likes going for walks without taking my bag, without taking my phone, just completely disconnected, but you still need to get into the house and you're wearing a skirt, you kind of want a pocket so that you just don't have to carry a bag. So this is really good for me when I'm going for a dog walk, just trying to get out there. So I really appreciate them including this detail. So yeah, that's the skirt. I really love the design and I can't wait to try that on as well. I'm loving this fabric theme too. And the last item for today, let's check out these leg covers. Oh my gosh, wow, they're so interesting. I've never had these before. Okay, so they're almost the same in design. You can see a few differences. This one has the bat wings, and then on the back, you can see one has two straps, the other one only has one strap. So I guess we'll look at this one, seeing as it has these bat wings, and that'll give us an overall idea of what it's like. So first of all, the fabric, I think it's the same as the fabric used on the jacket. So there's not a huge amount of stretch, just a little bit. And then we come down to these seams, which look pretty solid to me. Now at the very top, there's this elastic section, which I think would help it cling to your legs. And then you've also got this extra Burning Skies strap, which has like adjustments all the way around. So you should be able to get your size in this. So it has a really solid buckle, and if you have to go tighter and you end up with a lot of this tail, you can just put them under these loops. They feel pretty solid as well. As for the feel of these straps, they're just the same Burning Skies kind of fabric, nice and smooth. And then we come down to this detail. So on the jacket, we saw these kinds of studs, but there's a new one here, which is a bit more flat and with the hole in the middle, and that's a little bit different to, say, on the skirt. We had these little eyelets. It's sort of a more squashed, flat kind of circle. And then at these junction points, we've got some rings, and they're very solid. And then right towards the bottom, we end with a D-ring, which you could potentially hang something on if you wanted to. I'm not sure if that's the best idea, like right down the bottom of your legs, or at least that far down your legs. But if you wanted to, you could. And then here we have these cute little bat wings. Now they're mainly attached to this circle here, but there's also a stitch up here onto the fabric. And I think that's a really smart idea, because like if you've ever tried to have things with little wings, if the fabric isn't stiff enough, sometimes they can flop down. So they've just nipped that in the bud and gone, we're not even going to risk those wings flopping down. We're going to attach it here, and that'll keep them nice and spread. As for the fabric and the detail, you can see the way they've stitched it to give those little lines in there. And it looks to be that same sort of shiny leathery fabric that we saw on the skirt belt and also on the jacket. On the other side though, it's more of this smooth matte kind of fabric, which is interesting. Interesting that they've done that. Like they could have just left it as this shiny fabric, but they've decided to actually put lining on it, which is just like, they keep going this extra step to make it extra detailed. Okay, so coming further down, you can see where there's this crossover here. There's also some little belt loops to keep it in place. And on the other one where there's a crossover here, there's also a belt loop up here. So they've sort of thought of all the things to keep things where they're meant to be. And then further down below that, you can see this section of Burning Skies fabric. And these ones are actually sewn onto the fabric in this curvy configuration. They don't hang free, and on the back they don't continue on, that's just plain. All right, so that's these leg covers, and I'm really excited to try them because I've never tried leg covers before, and I think they'll be really cool, really fun. So that's all today's items unboxed. I'm gonna go and get dressed and we can see what it looks like all together. All right, so I've got all the items on. Now we're gonna do some twirls so that you can see a full view of how they look on me. I'm gonna put my measurements and also the items measurements in the corners so that you can see and compare and get an idea for the sizing. And yeah, okay, let's go for it. right, so you've seen how the outfit looks on me. Now let's have a talk about it. And just as an overall, I'll say the size, the fit, and the fabric of all the items is really good. They feel really good on me. Now to go into a little bit more detail about each of the items, I do have a few comments. So we'll start off with the top. So the top under here. And what's really interesting is I was sort of expecting this buckle to get a little bit in the way when I have the jacket on, because as you can see, the snake is right above that buckle. And I did sort of worry that maybe that would be kind of annoying having, you know, two different decorations pressing on each other. But once I put everything on, I'm really surprised to say I didn't notice it at all. Like, it's just, yeah, I don't know. It's designed really nicely. On the inside of the fabric, you know, they've made it really nice. So there's nothing like itchy or scratchy, or you just kind of don't notice it. So that was a surprise for me. And yeah, I think that's the main comment I have about the top. I guess like in terms of the size, so lengthwise, it's sort of in the middle. Like, it's not a cropped top, but it's also not long. So if you're tucking it into something like the skirt, it is a bit on the short side, and that's something to keep in mind. If you just like your shirts to be untucked though, but without clashing with the detail of whatever you're wearing below, like skirt or pants, you know, sometimes if you're wearing your shirt out, yeah, you do hide like the top section. And if you've got interesting belts or buckles or buttons, yeah, that overhang can hide that. So if that's how you prefer to wear your tops, then you've got no problems, because it's short enough that it still shows all that, but not so short that it's cropped if cropped is not the look that you're going for. Moving on to the jacket. So yeah, it feels really comfy. I've got a good range of movement. When you do this, you do get a little bit of feeling there, but you don't really have any restriction to your movement. Just the mildest tightness in certain actions. But if you're doing that, yeah, I don't know, like, it's not exercise clothes, it's just, but you know, it's impressive the amount of movement you do get. Now, comment about putting it on. So these chains, when it shipped to me, so this chain that crosses over and then the other chain that crosses over, they weren't crossed over. I actually took them off to cross them over myself. They were just hanging on the same sides. And that's so that when you put it on, you don't get tangled. And I think that's the best way to do it. So when I take this off, I will unclip them and put them back on the right sides, so that I can just take it off without like trying to struggle taking it over my head or something. So yeah, they've made it so you can just put it straight on, and then you can do all that customization, whatever you like. Now, of course, because I'm wearing a long sleeve top underneath, I'm not feeling much of the fabric, but I do feel it a little bit on my hands, like, you know, where the long sleeve top ends, and then we've got this little thumb hole. Yeah, and it feels really nice, really comfortable on my skin, so I've got no complaints about that at all. And then with the hood, as you can see, it's a pretty generous size. So yeah, that's really nice. You know, I've had hoods in the past that were just a little bit too small, and it's like, that doesn't look good and I don't want to wear it. But here you've got some nice extra room, and yeah, it really feels good. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this jacket. Now, as for the skirt, once again, that fits me really nice. It's really comfortable. But a few things I noticed. So one of the things is, you know how we looked at the invisible zipper and it appeared to be on the front of the skirt? Actually, like, when you look inside and you've got those two leg holes, right, it turns out the zip is actually meant to be on the side. And I think just when it was all put together, things were sort of shifted over. But because everything's removable, that's not a problem. I just unclipped the things, moved them over by one belt loop, took the belt out and put it back in, and now everything's fine. Everything's in the right configuration. So that invisible zipper is actually on the side. Yeah, but I had no trouble shifting things around. Another thing about the skirt is with the size. So it fits me perfectly, especially the way that I prefer to wear it, which is further down on my hips. Like, I didn't even need to tighten the belt at all. Like, once you pull up that zipper, that invisible zipper, it just fit really nicely onto my body shape and just hung really well. But if you notice with like Punk Rave Australia's models, a lot of the time they seem to like having their skirts and things quite high-waisted. They'll pull them up quite a lot. And I think with this particular outfit, that's the way to do it, because I noticed when I had the skirt further down, I mean, for one thing, with the top being slightly on the short edge, I couldn't tuck it in, and there was just like the slightest sliver of like stomach showing through depending on what angle I was at. And I thought, yeah, I'm not sure about that. But more importantly, with the skirt further down, it sort of started to cover up the top of the leg covers. And I mean, one of the fun things about the leg covers is showing off you know, that you have a bit of leg there, but also covering the bottom part of your leg, not the whole part of your leg. you know, like if you were going to cover your entire leg, they might as well be pants, right? Just like flared pants. So to show that they're leg covers, not pants, it was just a little bit too long for that. So for those reasons, I pulled it further up my waist and tightened it quite a lot to get it to stay there, because yeah, it did really want to just hang around my hips. But yeah, I got it to work and it looks fun. But a couple of things. So it does kind of like when you tighten it a lot, you do get a little bit of bunching that you can sort of, you know, I had to just distribute around a little bit. And I think if you were really committed to that style, like to having the high-waisted style, maybe double check your measurements and consider going down a size. I've got the small size, but maybe the extra small size would have done better to be the high-waisted look. Now for my purposes, because like with this outfit, yes, high-waisted works really well, but with other outfits where I maybe don't want it as high, it's nice to have that small size, that little extra room, so that I can wear it a bit further down. So I've got some flexibility with that. But if you were definitely committed to the high-waisted look, yeah, double check your measurements, consider going down a size. Now, as for the lining of the skirt being like in those leg holes rather than just one open circle, I'm not really sold that that was necessary, but maybe it helps keep the skirt like in the right orientation so that like as you walk, it's not shifting one way or the other. I don't know, I've never really had that kind of a problem with a skirt though. Yeah, but it feels fine. It is a little bit odd because, you know, it's sort of like pants, but like loose, so they don't really hug your legs in any way. Yeah, so that was a bit unusual, and I'm not entirely sure the purpose for it, and I kind of don't have an opinion, like it's fine, but I would be fine with just the open circle. So yeah, I don't really have any idea one way or the other whether like it's a good thing or a bad thing. I think it's just one of those neutral things. And so finally, let's talk about those leg covers. Now, when you are putting them on, put the covers on first. Don't put shoes on first. I did try it. It doesn't work. So yeah, leg covers first, shoes last, especially if you're wearing big shoes. I'm just wearing regular sports shoes, but you know, you're definitely not going to get platforms through those openings at the top. Now, these leg covers do fit really well on me, but I do have some comments about that as well, because once again, if you look at some of those Punk Rave Australia models, I think they must be like pretty tall. A lot of models do seem to be tall and maybe have longer legs, and I think they're also wearing platforms. So I think they're wearing theirs sort of just above the knee, whereas mine is maybe like a hand span above the knee. And that might be part of the reason that I'm getting the clashing with the skirt. Like, you know, if I was a little bit taller, maybe that wouldn't be a problem, or if I was wearing quite tall platforms, then I could drop them a little bit lower. But I'm just wearing regular shoes because one of the uses of these leg covers, I think, is if you don't have access to fancy gothic shoes, to fancy platforms and so on, it's a good way to hide them. Hide your regular sports shoes. And the other good thing about that is, like, you know, sports shoes tend to be more comfortable than a lot of gothic kinds of things that are more about fashion. So if you're going to be walking around a lot, you know, this could be a solution for you. But yeah, because I'm wearing regular sand shoes, sports shoes, they're just a regular size sole. And so I don't get that extra height. Yeah, so they do sit a little bit higher up my leg than at what I think the Punk Rave Australia models are wearing. And I'm wearing them that high not because of like how they hug my leg, but because I want to keep them off the ground so that they're not dragging and picking up the dirt. Now, the way that they hug your leg with that elastic, the elastic is quite strong and you do have to pull it a little bit to get it high enough. And then there's a point where it won't really go higher. But it worked out really well for me. And that was just with the elastic holding them up on their own. Now with those straps, oddly enough, I tightened them by a different amount. So it's slightly tighter on the left side. I put it on the third eyelet, whereas on the right side it's a bit looser on the second eyelet. I'm not sure why that is. Like, are my legs slightly different or are they slightly manufactured different? I can't really tell, but that's kind of an interesting thing. Now, I didn't tighten them for the purposes of holding them up. The elastic does that just fine. It's just that I noticed on the left side, if I left it on that second eyelet, the little strap was kind of dangling down a little bit. it and it didn't look so good, so I tightened it up just to get it, you know, to sit more over that elastic instead of drooping. Now the elastics are pretty strong, but I did notice walking around that they do slip a little bit, and maybe that's because of how high I'm wearing them. I'm not really sure, but as you're walking around you may need to like slightly pull them up sometimes. And I guess that brings us to another important point, because these are the extra small to small size. It's the smallest size that you can get them in. So if you're significantly shorter than me and you're not wearing platforms, or if your legs are significantly skinnier than mine, you may have trouble with these leg covers, because yeah, you do need some leg for them to hold on to, and you want to get them high enough that you aren't tripping over them. So that's something to consider. I don't know the size of my leg, but hopefully you can get a sort of an idea from my height and my look, whether or not they're going to work for you. I think if you're taller than me or larger than me, you should be fine because that elastic fits really nicely. But yeah, I'm using the smallest size, and I am noticing a little bit of it slipping. So yeah, if you're much smaller than me, they might be a little bit too big. It's possible though that if you are smaller, you might be able to use those straps to actually do some of the tightening. So not all is lost. You'll just be relying less on the elastic than I am. And then of course, if you wear like some platform shoes underneath, that might give you the extra height that you need so that you're not dragging them around. But if you were hoping to use the leg covers to hide like regular sport shoes the way I am, that's probably not going to work so well. So yeah, a few things to consider with them. Now, because it is my first time wearing leg covers, like I've not experienced that sort of hug around my leg before. And you know, it has to be tight enough to hold them up, but not so tight that it's uncomfortable. And yeah, I think for me, they really hit that sweet spot. I don't really notice them after a while. And it's also this cool feeling because I don't know how to explain it, but the feeling of that hug, and then you've got these flares, and when you're walking around, there's just something really cool feeling about it. I don't know how to describe it. Yeah, I just really like the feeling of it, and I'm kind of surprised. So that's what I've got to say about the items individually. I hope it makes sense. I hope it's helpful. Overall, everything fits and feels really nice. It's just mainly, I think, the skirt and the leg covers that you've got to think about a few extra things in terms of the sizing. Now, as for how it all looks together, I'm really excited by this Burning Skies fabric, and I'm glad that I got all of them in the Burning Skies. Like, some of them have black versions, and I just feel like, you know, sometimes black on black, like, it can look cool, but you lose a lot of the detail. Like I talked about this last review, I really like the red sort of accents, and I love that they all kind of match, like, you know, this whole outfit. So yeah, I'm really happy that I got everything in the red Burning Skies variant. And then it's just really fun and it feels really cool. Like this jacket is really cute, you know, with this hood. And that's another thing about the red on black as opposed to black on black. It kind of makes this section look like it's separate from the sleeve in a way, which I don't think you would get so much if it was just black. And so that kind of gives it this cool little, I don't know, shruggy kind of, I don't know what terminology, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it just, it makes it, it gives it a different effect, and I think that's really cute. I really wish I could explain what I mean, but I think the words have just escaped me for today. Now, as for the warmth factor, so obviously up top I've got long sleeves over long sleeves. So yeah, I am getting a little bit warm sitting here. So I would say maybe not like full on winter, especially if you're like Northern Hemisphere or somewhere where it's really cold. You know, this wouldn't be like full on winter, but like maybe autumn. Here in Australia, maybe some winter days, although on the coldest days I'd maybe put something extra on. But yeah, it does keep you reasonably warm, I'm finding, just sitting here. Now, obviously the skirt and the leg covers are a little bit less suited to colder weather because you do have that area where your leg is showing. But you could always wear some leggings or some thermals or something underneath that, and that'd take care of it, and you'd still get a pretty cool look. Now, as we head into warmer weather here in Sydney, I think the main item from this set that I'm going to be wearing will be the skirt, just because it sort of suits warmer weather better. Although I might wear the leg covers, haven't decided yet, depends a bit on the day. Definitely not on a really hot day, but on those sort of in-between days, maybe I would. So yeah, I think that covers about everything. So yeah, the size of everything is really good. Just a couple of things to note. The fit is really good, like the way it fits my body. Just yeah, the skirt, if I'm trying to lift it higher, it does have to be tighter. Otherwise, yeah, I really like all that. The fabrics are all really nice. Punk Rave Australia is always really good at choosing fabrics that don't annoy me. I used to be really picky about this sort of thing. So yeah, it's great to find interesting clothes that are actually comfortable. And then yeah, it all feels really good, and I think it looks really good together, and I'm loving this Burning Skies theme. So yeah, everything about it I'm really happy with. Now, if you'd like to buy any of the items featured today, there's usually a 20% off discount for the first 30 days after this review goes live. You don't need a code for that, and you also don't need to buy the whole set. You can just buy one item and that item will have 20% off, or you can buy all of them and they'll all have 20% off. Thanks as always to Punk Rave Australia for sending these items to me. It's really exciting and I love just having the whole set ready to go. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like. Please subscribe to one or both of our channels. My channel is Destroy Americo. I do a lot of vlogs and sort of just all over the place content, whatever I feel like, whereas the Punk Rave Australia channel is just these reviews. So if your passion is alternative fashion, that's where you want to subscribe. You can also help us out by sharing this video with a friend if you know someone who's into this style. And if you have any feedback, please leave us a comment down below. Thank you everyone for watching, and I hope you'll be with us next time when we look at something a little bit more colorful. See you later, guys.